You know that feeling, right? The competition hasn't even started, but your nerves, they are definitely in the game. First, you feel it physically. Your shoulders get tight, maybe there's a knot in your stomach. It's this very real physical weight you just can't seem to shake off. And then your heart starts going. You can literally feel it pounding in your chest, kind of like a drum beat counting down to go time. And up here in your head, it's chaos. 1,000 different thoughts are just racing around. Doubts, what ifs. It feels impossible to focus. If any of that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about nerves as a signal, not a threat. Then we'll cover why accepting them is way better than trying to push them down. After that, we dive into the practical stuff, using your body to regulate, directing your attention, and finally putting it all together in a pre-competition routine you can count on. Pay attention to this, because this right here is probably the single most important mindset shift you can make. So many of us chase this idea of being perfectly calm, but honestly, that's a losing battle. The goal isn't to feel relaxed. The goal is to feel regulated. The best athletes in the world don't get rid of their nerves. They just get really, really good at managing them. All right, first up, nerves as a signal, not a threat. Let's dig into the why behind what your body's doing, because once you understand it, you can start to control it. So why do nerves even show up? Well, it's a totally natural response when you're facing something that's important to you and you don't know the outcome. It's just your body's sympathetic nervous system kicking in, getting you ready for action. And of course, the more meaning you put on the result, making the team, winning the championship, the more that feeling gets turned up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Think of this as a fork in the road. The feeling itself is just a feeling. It's neutral. But if your brain interprets it as a threat, it turns into anxiety, tension, and doubt. The story you're telling yourself is, something is wrong. But if you interpret that exact same feeling as a challenge, it becomes energy, readiness, focus. Now, the story is, my body is preparing. Same feeling, totally different outcome. It all comes down to how you frame it. Which brings us perfectly to our next point, acceptance over suppression. This is where you stop fighting a battle you're never going to win, and you start managing your internal state like a pro. I mean, think about it. When has telling yourself to just calm down ever actually worked? Probably never, right? When you try to force yourself to be calm, you're creating this internal conflict that just backfires. It actually keeps your system all revved up and can make you even more tense. And if you need a real-world example, look no further than Rafael Nadal. We're talking about one of the most mentally tough competitors of all time. He's been open about feeling intense nerves. But what did he do? He didn't fight them. He used his routines to stay regulated and focused. That's the secret sauce. Control comes from acceptance and management, not from trying to wish the nerves away. Okay, so we've agreed the nerves are part of the deal, so what do we do about them? Well, we start with the body. Your body is the fastest, most direct way to get a handle on what's going on in your mind. Here's a super simple but incredibly powerful drill you can do anywhere, anytime. Just find a comfortable spot. Take a steady inhale through your nose for about 4 seconds. Now here's the key part. A long, slow exhale through your mouth for about 6 seconds. That longer exhale is like a message directly to your nervous system, telling it to downshift. Just repeat that 5 or 6 times and you will feel a noticeable difference. And breathing's not the only tool in the toolbox. You can also just do a quick tension scan. Are you clenching your jaw? Are your shoulders creeping up to your ears? Find that tension and consciously let it go. Another great one is movement. Instead of standing still and letting all that nervous energy build up, channel it. Use some light dynamic movements, leg swings, arm circles, to put that energy to good use. Remember, the body leads and the mind will follow. All right, so we've used our body to calm the system down. Now let's take control of the mind. This whole section is about directing your attention, because where your focus goes, your energy is going to flow. A nervous mind loves to jump all over the place, so we're going to give it a simple 3-part job to do. First, pick one external thing to focus on, something outside of your own head, like the ball or your opponent or just your own rhythm. Second, pick one cue word, something short and action-oriented, like explode or smooth. And finally, have one clear intention for the performance, like compete with confidence. This little framework gives your mind a clear direction and cuts right through all that mental noise. So now we get to the final piece of the puzzle, putting it all together into your actual pre-competition routine. This is how we take these ideas and make them a reliable, automatic part of how you prepare. Here's a simple timeline you can use and adapt. About an hour to 30 minutes out, your only job is to notice the nerves and use that slow exhale breathing to regulate. Then, about 10 minutes before you start, it's time to quiet the mind. Shift your focus to that external target, repeat your cue word. And then right before the start, it's all about one thing. Commit to your very first action and go execute. That's it. And let's be super clear about this. Feeling ready doesn't mean the nerves just vanish. That's a myth. True readiness is about feeling directed. It's knowing you have a plan, knowing you have the tools to manage the nerves. That's when they stop being overwhelming and start being manageable. So let's wrap up with the key takeaways. First, nerves are normal. They're a signal that you're ready to go. Second, control comes from accepting them, not fighting them. Third, use your body as a tool to regulate your mind. And fourth, give your attention a clear, simple plan to follow. So I'll leave you with this question to build your own awareness. What's the very first physical sign that tells you your nerves are kicking in? Is it sweaty palms, your stomach, your breathing? Knowing your own personal signal is the first step to mastering it.